The sailors froze in terror when they saw this in the middle of the ocean. When the exhausted crew of the fishing boat, Sea Hope, was about to accept the total failure of their 2-week expedition, the navigator suddenly noticed a strange glow deep in the ocean. Nobody could guess what it meant. But, against all common sense, the captain ordered to change course and follow this mysterious light. The worn-out sailors silently obeyed, not realizing their lives would be turned upside down in just a few hours. It's hard to believe, but what they discovered in this part of the ocean, where no fishing boat had ever gone, made even the toughest crew members hold their breath in fear and awe. 14 exhausting days in the open ocean felt endless. The endless stretches of the Pacific, where the blue sky meets the dark waters, became both their home and their trial. The captain, a man with stormy sea-colored eyes and gray hair at his temples, carried the heavy responsibility for his entire crew. His salt-roughened hands, covered in old scars, gripped the worn steering wheel tightly. Every empty net felt like a punch to the heart. The food supplies were running out, and their empty holds threatened not just financial disaster, but also the loss of their fishing license. The crew of Sea Hope was like a family. Everyone knew their job and understood each other without words. A young mechanic with magic hands and a dreamy gaze wrestled with the engines, pushing them to their limits. Every evening, he spent long hours in the engine room, where the smell of oil and metal mixed with salty sprays coming in through the vents. The first mate, a man who knew the sea like the back of his hand, would stare at the horizon for hours, thinking about his daughter who dreamed of becoming a doctor. His battered old pipe, passed down in the family for generations, was almost never out. It wrapped him in clouds of fragrant smoke. The cook, who had seen all 7 seas, carefully rationed what food was left. His face, wrinkled and weathered by all the winds of the ocean, grew more worried with each passing day. A young sailor, a Hungarian whose ancestors had never even seen the sea, but who felt drawn to it for reasons he couldn't explain, wrote down each day of the tough journey in a battered journal. On the 7th day, cramped together in their small cabin, the crew made a risky decision, to go further out into remote waters, where fishing boats rarely ventured. The map spread out on the table showed a dangerous route. It was a desperate move. Even a small breakdown far from shipping lanes could be fatal. But they had no choice. The silent navigator, a Norwegian with a fiery red beard, charted a new course, hoping the good weather would support their crazy plan. And it was as if the ocean, after testing their strength, finally took pity on them. On the 9th day, the lookout, whose eagle eyes were legendary among fishermen, spotted something strange on the surface of the water. It turned out to be a massive school of tuna. The next 2 days turned into an endless battle with an unbelievable catch. The deck gleamed silver with fish, winches groaned under the weight of the nets, and the crew worked until their hands were covered in bloody blisters, realizing chances like this only happen once in a lifetime. Majestic whales appeared near the boat. They seemed like ancient guardians of the ocean, blessing the fishermen's hard work. Their powerful spouts shot up like rainbows in the afternoon sunlight. The cook could barely keep up, making food that the crew wolfed down right on deck, without even stopping work. His spicy seafood pilaf, which usually made everyone happy, was now just eaten mechanically. But the ocean had another lesson to teach them. On the way back, the boat was caught in a violent storm. It hit so suddenly, even experienced meteorologists didn't see it coming. Black clouds, looking like giant sea monsters, covered the sky. Waves as high as a 3-story building crashed over the side. The wind howled like hundreds of hungry wolves. For 18 hours, the captain never left the helm, steering the boat around the heart of the storm. Every mile was a huge struggle. But they made it. It seemed like all the challenges were behind them. A thin line of land was already visible on the horizon. But fate had one last test for them. A young sailor spotted a dolphin, desperately fighting against a fishing net tightly wrapped around its tail. Without hesitation, the captain decided to turn the boat around, even though the crew was exhausted and land was so close. Their unwritten code of the sea made it a rule to help anyone in trouble, human or animal. For a whole hour, they maneuvered next to the desperate animal, fighting waves and the current. Finally, with everyone's effort, they hauled the dolphin on board. The strongest crew members carefully held the animal still, while the cook, with his skilled hands, began to cut away the net. The sailor poured water over the dolphin's skin to keep it from drying out. The intelligent eyes of the animal watched the people closely, and its gaze seemed full of hope and curiosity, not fear. After the dolphin was freed, something amazing happened. It didn't swim away right away. Instead, it put on a real show, leaping out of the water next to the boat. Its jumps were so full of pure joy and freedom that even the toughest sailors couldn't help but smile. It was truly a magical sight, its silver body soaring above the waves in the glow of the evening sun, splashes sparkling like tiny rainbows. For almost an hour, the dolphin stayed with the boat, diving underwater, then surfacing again with a fountain of spray, as if thanking each member of the crew. Soon, other dolphins started to join in. Its family had finally found it. The lookout, with his sharp eyes, was the first to spot the approaching pod in the distance. Before long, a full-on show was happening around the boat. Dozens of graceful bodies were jumping out of the water, creating an unforgettable scene of unity between humans and nature. When the dolphins finally disappeared beneath the surface and the sunset painted the ocean gold, the Sea Hope crew understood that they'd witnessed something truly special. The young sailor quietly spoke an old Norwegian saying, that kindness to the sea is always repaid many times over. In that moment, they didn't just feel like fishermen with a big catch, they felt like part of something much bigger, a vast ocean where humans and compassion can create real miracles. And so, this incredible journey came to an end. The last rays of the setting sun colored the sea in deep purple, as if nature itself was blessing these people who proved that their hearts have room not only for hard work, but for true kindness. Somewhere deep in the ocean, a happy dolphin family swam, carrying the memory of the people who didn't turn away from a creature in need. The story of Sea Hope became a legend among fishermen, reminding everyone that even in the toughest times, you should never lose faith in miracles and humanity. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more exciting adventures and amazing real-life stories.